All right, I'm just gonna talk this dream out. Actually, dream it was probably the scariest nightmare I've ever had in my life. Just now, I took this nap. So I picked up a hippie woman. I actually picked up a hippie woman that broke down, and I seen her as I was coming into town, and her car broke down. I'd seen her walking, and I pulled over. I was like, "Well, are you okay? Like, do you need help?" And she's like, I gotta get to this dentist appointment." And I was like, made room. I was like, "Get in, let's get you there," And then I told her that I could help get her back. My phone is not wanting to charge at all. I was like, "Hey, I'm actually just around the corner, right here." I don't think she quite realized where is that. I was like, right around the corner, but that's okay. Um, but I, but I was like, "Hey, just I'm gonna be right here. You can just like wake me up if I'm not awake or whatever." And so, anyways, in the dream, I like picked up this younger hippie woman, and then I had my boy there for a minute, and like we were all kind of conversing or something, and then he went to like go hang out with them, like because maybe she had kids or something, and then I guess he had like asked. I heard that he like asked her for like pajama pants, and I was kind of annoyed. I was like, well, I was like, he shouldn't do that. Like I could get him pajama pants. Like I was like, I got enough for pajama pants right now. Like maybe not a bunch of money for like a bunch of nice pajama pants, but I was like, I could get you like I could get you a nice pair of pajama pants, or we go to the thrift store and get you, a few different pair of pajama pants or whatever. And the lady was like, "Oh, you could." She's like, "You can't afford that." She's not completely wrong. Like I can afford pajama pants, but not completely wrong. Like I can't, we can't, we can't go getting some Armani pajama pants or something stupid. I don't know, then, but she was kind of insinuating that I had no money. I was like, why? I was like, he shouldn't be. It was a little embarrassing. Like, why is he asking these people for if they can buy him pajamas? He doesn't. I don't think he needs to do that. I think I could do that. Like, would I? And I'm asking myself, I'm like, would I have said no? Did he do it? Because I would actually have been like, oh, I can't do that. And I was like, actually asking myself that question. And so then, I actually was next. Then all of a sudden, I was like next to one of my buddies, and I was like telling him about it. And I was like, I can get him pajama pants, I think. And I was like, kind of like, this is kind of weird. This is kind of annoying, and whatever. And then like I was seeing something about some news report. Then I was like about some kid, and they were talking about him on the news, and it was like kind of not good. And then they mentioned like something about like that kid was like, somehow related to those people. And I don't know. And I got a little nervous. I messaged him. I was like, hey, like, you good? I was like, did you see this? And he said something kind of like snooty to me. Like, and almost like it was like, and it was almost like I told him that, and then he had said something to them. So then it made it like extra weird. But like I was kind of getting like outcasted. I could feel myself being like outcasted. And almost like they'd kind of like bringing him in, and I'm getting outcasted. And I'm getting concerned because I'm seeing this news report. And then I think, I guess I like went to the bar. Who'd have thunk? And so I don't remember what was happening at the bar. I must have, and it's almost like I had a drink or something. It's a little foggy, but like then like there was like a time lapse, and so I don't know. It's almost like, oh, like being blacked out or something. But I next thing I know, like someone actually goes and they're like, and I don't think they handed me a card yet, but like, someone threw like one of your cards like up on the roof. But they kind of told me in a way that like it was again very outcast. I was like, oh, that's weird. And then I was sitting at like another part of the bar, and then someone came up and they're like, did you lose this? Is this yours? And they handed me an ID, but it was like my old license. And I was like, what? That is weird. And I pulled my wallet out, And I was like, well, here's my regular ID, but my debit card was gone. And I'm like, and they're like, oh, that's suspicious. You've got two IDs. And they're like, we're kicking you out or something. And I was like, what? Wait, what? What is happening? And then the guy was telling me, he's like, I opened this bar. I'm closing the bar now because of you. He's like, actually had all this stuff going on. That's why it was a long drive for me to come and get here and open the bar. And he was like making it sound like because of me, they were like closing the entire, and he said something at some point. They're like, no, we don't need to hear you monologue anymore. I'm a bit of a monologuer. I am a bit of a, I like to get on stage at times. I can admit that. There are stand-up comedians or actors that like to do these things. They don't try to be a monologuer. Anyways, so I was like, what? And they're like, and so it was almost like it was my fault that the bar was closing down early. And then I'm like, and then I was trying to get my card from them. And I was like, I'm gonna get my card. Like, I got to do these other things. And it kind of brushed me off. And then, so I felt really weird. And I was like, and I went outside. I kind of went up the road. And then like this guy was like waiting. He's like, oh, cool. The bar's going to get out and everyone's going to come. It's going to be really cool. And then he's like, oh, it looks like they just shut down. And I'm like, fuck, my card's still in there, And then like, but then it was like really weird. Like I didn't really want to go into the group of people and cause it sounded like they were all mad at me. Like all of them, the whole place. And I was like, what the crap? And then I start trying to go back to like my car. And then I look down in like the dirt and there's my debit card and it's like in the dirt, and I pick it up and I see like two cars in front of me, like parked, like turn off, and a car behind me turn off. And I'm like, what is going on? And then there's like a guy behind me starts talking to me and I'm like, okay. And he was like, I can't remember what he was saying. And then I was like, cool, no, all good. Like I'm out of here, like I'm going, I get a hint when I see one. I'm gonna leave y'all in peace. And then he started kind of chasing me, sort of like going faster. So I just kind of started running, and he said, Anunnaki clowns. And then I got a little nervous, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I was like, do I have my pocket knife? Because this is getting crazy. My pocket knife was there. And then I started going forward, and then like my other knife was like in the road. It was much bigger though, and it was like in the road, and I was like, what is this doing here? And I picked it up, and then I like look and like to the parking lot where I was at, and there's like, I see like an ambulance. Oh, and they had said something else, like, I don't know, something else got insinuated that was really creepy, and I was like, I gotta get out of here. And I see like an ambulance, and I'm like, what is going on? Did someone get hurt? Am I getting set up? And I look, and surrounded where my car was supposed to be, there's like a bunch of like cops and SUVs waiting. And I'm like, what is happening? And I'm like, did I just get set up? And they didn't see me yet. And I kind of start backing away. And then I woke up. And that was probably the most terrifying nightmare I've ever had in my entire life. Just now.